Chapter 1919. When Xiao Yinyan returned to her seat again, she was shocked to find that in just half an hour, the two of them had already confirmed their relationship. She bit the straw in her mouth and looked at the interaction between her brother and sister Le Qing, who she had never touched before, with a complicated expression. To be honest, when the two of them sat together, they looked really harmonious. Moreover, if she didn't say it, no one would believe that today was the first time the two of them had met. Their interaction was too natural, compared to a young couple who had just confirmed their relationship. In Xiao Yinyan's eyes, the two of them were more like an old couple who had lived together for countless years. The tacit understanding between them was simply enviable, but they weren't like a real old couple who had all their passion erased by the trivialities of life. Xiao Yinyan thought in a daze. Perhaps in this world, there really is such a thing as fate or previous life. Otherwise, how could she explain that her brother had no interest in women in the past? Of course, he didn't have any interest in men either. No matter how much the family worried, there was no way to make him fall in love with someone else. However, he only took one look at Sister Le Qing and fell in love with her. It was as if his previous life was just waiting for her to appear. This seemed to be quite good. Xiao Yinyan thought silently. Gu Xingyin and Xiao Fengwan got along very well. In fact, even if this man didn't have any memories, he could always make her feel very determined in all aspects. However, since it was getting late, she said goodbye to the two after eating. Of course, when she left, the two of them already had their contact information in her phone. After watching Gu Xingyin walk into the neighborhood, Xiao Fengwan retracted his gaze. Brother, Xiao Yinyan asked teasingly from the back seat. How does it feel to be in love? Xiao Fengwan knew that his sister was teasing him. He glanced at the rearview mirror, and the corner of his mouth hooked up. The feeling is very wonderful. A single girl like you won't understand. Xiao Yinyan. My goddess sister Le Qing, why are you so blind? Gu Xingyin returned home in a good mood. She logged into the game as usual, and sure enough, there were several people asking her for guides. However, she didn't sell the video again. If she guessed correctly, after such a long time, the video she sold to those people would probably be released soon. If she sold it now, she would easily offend people. She opened the forum and skimmed through it. There wasn't any big news. Speaking of which, it was just as she had expected. After becoming famous, the number of people who came looking for her using the ID dark fragrance sleeves increased. In this way, her income was much higher than before. This could be considered as fulfilling one's wish. Gu Xingluo. She was lamenting. Suddenly, she received a private message. Our swordsman, are you there? Look at the forum, you've been hacked. Gu Xingyin replied. Yes, I'll go take a look now. She refreshed. There was a new post posted. It's a new post looking at the time when the post was posted. It had only been 2 minutes, but it had already become a hot post. There were already over. It was posted. It's a posted. She looked at the poster's ID. Okay, so it was her. The poster was an enchanting beauty. The post talked about what happened during the day. Chapter 1920. At first glance, that seemed to be what the post was talking about. Exceptional Enchanting used a very calm tone to talk about her experiences today. Doesn't it sound like there's nothing wrong with it? But in reality, this post didn't seem to have any problems at all. It didn't say anything about anyone bullying others. But after everyone finished reading it, their minds were filled with the image of dark fragrance, who had a sharp tongue, was overbearing, and was stingy and vicious in real life. Gu Xingyin raised her eyebrows. Looks like Exceptional Enchanting's weakness hasn't been found out yet, otherwise, she wouldn't be so idle. She lazily scrolled down. There really were a lot of diehard fans of the #1 beauty. Gu Xingyin glanced over and saw that at least 60% of the posts were cursing her. Another 20% of the people on the floor were just there to watch the show. The remaining 20% were more rational players. But it was useless. These rational players were directly burned to ashes by the diehard fans. Gu Xingyin didn't want to fight back in someone else's home ground. She directly logged out and used Dark Fragrance's ID to make a new post. The title was very simple and crude. dark fragrance sleeve whitewashing post. The content was even more simple and crude. Today I met the Iron Blood Guild leader, and the #1 beauty exceptional enchanting. So we chatted for a bit. Of course, it wasn't a harmonious conversation. After all, everyone knows that I don't have a good relationship with exceptional enchanting. In response to the green tea smelling post next door, exceptional enchanting would like to make an explanation. I actually only said a few sentences. The main content is as follows. Number 1. Exceptional enchanting isn't as pretty as in game. Number 2. Exceptional enchanting saw that my boyfriend was handsome and came to hit on him, but I rebuked her back. Number 3. She said bad things about me in front of my boyfriend and his sister, but I rebuked her back. Number 4. She's not eloquent and only knows how to call people sluts. In the end, she got angry and ran away. Number 5. In summary, I attached a link to the other party's post. Once she opened the post, it didn't take more than a few minutes for the post to be filled with comments. Tang Sect Pig Days. Support Goddess Dark Fragrance. My goddess is simple and crude. Green tea pretentious bitch get lost. I love enchanting. Bah, what great god. What straightforward is all bullshit. Aren't you just jealous of our enchanting's beauty? You bully our alluring Rao because she doesn't know how to scold people. So you bully people. No matter how powerful your character is, it's still not enough. Enjoying the show. The person above is an idiot. Appraisal complete. Anyway, if there's a little slut who talks bad about me behind my back and tries to seduce my man, I'll teach her a lesson. Blossoming Banksia. Finally, there's someone who's hooked up with this stunning green tea bitch. This bitch relied on her good looks to seduce male players in the game every day. She had the face of a female player. Onlookers. Both sides have their own opinions. I'd better watch the show quietly. Gu Xingyin's private chat window suddenly popped up. It was Chili. Are you alright? His voice sounded a little cold. Gu Xingyin didn't care at all. Don't worry. I don't even care about the rank of enchanting beauty. Chili didn't say anything. However, a minute later, the black-clothed blade master appeared before Gu Xingyin. How can there be such an unreasonable woman in the world? Chili obviously also saw Enchanting Beauty's post. Of course, he also saw Gu Xingyin's post, and was very satisfied with the title of boyfriend. Gu Xingyin shrugged. Who knows? How can we normal people understand the world of idiots? Chapter 1921. When Chili heard her description, he couldn't help but laugh. Gu Xingyin looked at him strangely. What's wrong? Chili looked at her and said, I just remembered that ever since I met you, I don't think I've ever seen you lose an argument. Gu Xingyin raised her eyebrows and smiled. That's right. If I wasn't good at talking, I would have been bullied to death since I was young. She was telling the truth. Qinliqing was the typical type of person who wasn't loved by her parents. She lived with her parents since she was young. However, the only thing her parents could do for her was give her a place to live and food to eat. The rumors from the mouths of outsiders and the school were enough to drive a weak-willed girl crazy. Fortunately, Qinliqing had a strong personality. After so many years, she had also trained her mouth to be strong. When Chili heard her casually talk about her childhood, his heart suddenly ached. He didn't know what she had experienced, but hearing her say this, he knew that it wasn't anything good. He felt bad for her. Gu Xingyin felt her body warm up. Chili walked over and hugged her. The game was really realistic. Even the human body temperature was simulated quite realistically. Chili gently wrapped his arms around her waist and said in a low voice, You don't have to be so strong in the future. I'll stand in front of you. Gu Xingyin looked up and wanted to say something, but an angry voice sounded. Big Sis Dark Fragrance. Majestic Demonic Rabbit's voice stopped abruptly when it saw the two of them hugging each other. What? What was going on? A smile quickly appeared on Majestic Presence's face. He laughed and said, I suddenly remembered that I still have something to do. He wanted to leave, but Chili let go of his hand and said, Come back. Since the captain had spoken, Majestic Presence Rabbit naturally didn't dare to leave. He turned around and looked at the two of them with a pair of clear eyes. His eyes were burning with the fire of gossip. Gu Xingyin. She had a feeling that majestic presence and flirtatious bunny was in such a hurry to leave, not because of awkwardness, but because he couldn't wait to share this gossip with someone. Without waiting for the two to say anything, majestic presence bewitching rabbit said with a look of realization. So, the boyfriend you mentioned in the post is Captain Big Sis Dark Fragrance? Gu Xingyi nodded. There was nothing to hide. Majestic presence seductive bunny immediately exclaimed, and opened its mouth to gossip. But Qili cruelly deprived him of his desire to gossip. He asked, "What business do you have with us?" Majestic demonic bunny reluctantly shut its mouth. Then it finally remembered the serious matter. "It's like this, Sister Hidden Fragrance. I have a gay friend in Iron and Blood Lofty Sentiment. He said that Exceptional Enchanting has secretly contacted a large group of players. It's said that they're going to stop you and teach you a lesson." Qili's eyes turned cold. Gu Xingyin calmed down a little. She frowned and asked, "Does Iron and Blood know about this?" She felt strange. Could it be that Iron and Blood really liked Exceptional Enchanting to that extent? After hearing her hint, he still allowed Hidden Fragrance to act? Majestic Presence Rabbit shook his head. "I don't think so. My gay friend said that it was Exceptional Enchanting who privately messaged them. He didn't hear anything from the guild." Chapter 1922. Gu Xingyin immediately knew what was going on after hearing Majestic Presence Seductive Rabbit's words. From the looks of it, this was more like a private action of the enchanting beauty. She thanked Majestic Presence Seductive Rabbit. "Thank you, Rabbit. I'll have a good chat with Iron Blood." Qili also said, "I'll have a good chat with Iron Blood's guild leader as well." Majestic Presence Seductive Rabbit waved his hand and laughed. "It's nothing, don't be so polite." After saying that, he looked at Gu Xingyin with sparkling eyes and said, "By the way, I have something to ask Sister in Xiang." Gu Xingyin smiled. "What is it? Is Stunning Alluring really not as pretty as she is in the game?" Gu Xingyin was speechless. Although she was surprised that Rabbit would care about this, she still answered seriously, "Yes, there's a big difference between her and the game. It's probably because she doesn't introduce herself, so no one can recognize her." Qili stood on his girlfriend's side. "I didn't recognize her." Majestic Presence and Bewitching Rabbit nodded in understanding. He patted his chest and said, "Don't worry, Sister Dark Fragrance. If Stunning Alluring dares to mess with you again, I'll contact a few friends and hack her to death." Gu Xingyin's eyes widened, as if he did not expect the usually well-behaved rabbit to say something like that. Qili, on the other hand, looked calm. He said to Gu Xingyin, "I haven't told you that Rabbit is a hacker." Majestic Presence Seductive Bunny laughed and waved at the two of them. "Then I won't disturb the two of you." Gu Xingyin blinked and said, "There are many hidden talents in your team." Qili said, "Rabbit may be young, but he's an absolute genius in computing. If you have any problems in the future, you can contact him." Gu Xingyin nodded. She didn't say that she had the system. Gu Xingyin privately messaged Iron Blood and told him about Stunning Alluring bribing guild members. After that, she said, "Iron Blood and I parted on good terms, and I don't intend to be enemies with Iron Blood. However, if Iron Blood's members continue to provoke me, then you should know that I, Hidden Fragrance, am not the type of person to suffer a loss." As she expected, Iron Blood didn't know anything about this. He already had suspicions about the bewitching beauty in his heart, and now that he encountered her doing such a thing, he was naturally unhappy. Needless to say, Dark Fragrance Flowing Sleeve's strength was becoming more and more powerful. He did not want to be enemies with her. He went to talk to Stunning Alluring Stunning, and Enchanting women had always been held in high regard by others. When had they ever been warned in such a way? The two of them fell out on the spot. Alluring, she didn't expect him. But she didn't expect him to just like that. In Alluring, was this time. Chapter 1923. Qili was speechless. He felt that if this continued, Dark Star's reputation as the most violent sorcerer in the server would spread. She would definitely be known as the most sharp-tongued person in the server. Gu Xingyin received another private message. It was from Tang Sect Pig. "Sister Dark Fragrance, take a look at the World Channel." Gu Xingyin clicked on it, and the smile on her face disappeared. Chili saw that her expression wasn't good, so he also clicked on the World Channel. Enchanting Beauty was scolding people in the World Channel, with her group of brainless fans. Enchanting Beauty, dark fragrance you bitch. If you have the ability, let's face each other face to face. Why are you secretly ruining my reputation? I love Enchanting Beauty, that's right. Dark fragrance is shameless. She's secretly sowing discord between us and Iron Blood. Enchanting support group. Dark fragrance is shameless. Dark fragrance is shameless. Dark fragrance is shameless. Dark fragrance is shameless. Bao Bao wants kiss kiss. Dark fragrance is shameless. Dark fragrance is shameless. Dark fragrance is shameless. The back was completely flooded. These people are too much. Chili's expression was very ugly. Chili. Some people shouldn't forget what education is just because they're on the internet. Gu Xingyin just happened to see this message. She turned around and looked at Chili helplessly. Why are you arguing with them? Chili said coldly. Are you going to let them scold me? Gu Xingyin shook her head. Watch me. She bought a golden horn. To be honest, her heart ached when she bought it. She said to the golden horn, Enchanting Beauty, I, dark fragrance, will fight you in the open. Do you dare to come in half an hour? Enchanting Beauty, I, dark fragrance, will fight you in the open. Do you dare to come in half an hour? Enchanting Beauty, I, dark fragrance, will fight you in the open. Do you dare to come in half an hour? Enchanting Beauty, I, dark fragrance, will fight you in the open. Do you dare to come in half an hour? A cold female voice sounded over the entire server. The World Channel was silent. Fuxing Yiming Wuxin. Ha 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 ha, the world is finally quiet. If you ask me, Master Hidden Fragrance, your face slapping came too quickly. Fuxing Yiming Wuxin. I said Exceptional Beauty and her lackeys. You guys slandered her for playing dirty. Now Hidden Fragrance is doing as you wish. Do you dare to respond to such an enchanting beauty? Hidden Fragrance sleeves. Wuxin, don't scare her. Everyone knows that she's a fragile mage. She's only good at talking. Will I eat melon? I like this kind of reversal. Stunning Enchanting looked at the World Channel and heard Dark Fragrance's words just now. She was so angry that she was trembling. However, Gu Xingyin was right. She did not dare to accept the challenge. When they saw the posts on the forum, they naturally recognized her immediately. As long as one was not a fool, one would be able to determine whether the information on the paper was real or fake. The stunning and enchanting woman sat on the floor in a daze. After a while, her phone rang again. It was her boyfriend. A look of joy appeared on the beautiful woman's face. However, the other party only coldly told her to pack her things and get out of the house within 3 days. Chapter 1926. Only then did Exceptional Seductive remember something. This house was indeed bought by her boyfriend especially for her. When he bought it, he said that he would put the house under her name. But what did she say at that time? She loved him and was not with him for his money. In order to prove this, she was determined not to take the house. What she was interested in at that time was not a mere house, but her boyfriend's famous family background. What she wanted came true. Her boyfriend thought that she was the most pure and unworldly woman he had ever met in his life, and treated her even better. If she could have thought of this day, she would never have said those words to capture her boyfriend's heart. This was a high-class apartment in Shanghai City. Now her boyfriend was gone, and even the house was gone. She was about to be kicked out. Exceptional Seductive tried to call him one last time to explain, but the cold, busy tone came from the other end of the phone. He blacklisted her. Exceptional Seductive finally lost her last breath, and her whole body went limp. The players soon discovered that Exceptional Seductive, who was once quite active, could no longer be seen in this game. Exceptional Seductive really could not stay in this server anymore. Her ID and appearance were too eye-catching. No matter where she appeared, there would be teasing from male players and ridiculing from female players. Seductive Beauty, I'll pay 10,000 crystal coins for a night. Are you willing to accompany me? Exceptional Seductive, how can a woman like you still have the face to appear in this game? Her supporters had all run away, and many players who didn't like her started to PK her the moment they saw her. She had lost dozens of levels in 2 days, and most of her equipment had been lost. She really could not play anymore. Do you guys think that exceptional seductive really left this game? Gu Xingyin lazily listened to her teammates' gossip. Toe-scratching Hunk said, I don't know. Anyway, her reputation is completely ruined. Whether she will play or not. At least the ID exceptional seductive, and that overly beautified face, can never be used again. That's true, Le Qing. A private message suddenly came. Gu Xingyin looked at Qi Li, who was standing beside him in confusion. They were so close to each other, and there were no outsiders here. Why would they have a private chat? Qi Li looked at her with a gentle gaze. It's a good day in a few days. Can you accompany me to meet my parents? Gu Xingyin was stunned. She raised her head to look at the man in front of her. His face was calm, but his eyes were filled with a warm smile. Sure, she heard herself say with a smile. She and he didn't need to test each other so much anymore. She loved him, he loved her, they were together, a family. It was that simple. It was as if a beautiful dream had ended. Chapter 1930. Gu Xingyin repeated in confusion. Reincarnation for revenge? The system nodded. Yes, host. You came to Zhang Jiujiu's body and changed the fate of the Zhang family before anything happened. You also successfully made Zhang Jiujiu a winner in life. Gu Xingyin thought for a while. With Zhang Jiujiu's identity as a woman and her family background, there were too many restrictions for her to walk the path of a main character. At this moment the system added, "Oh right, host, I forgot to tell you. This world is considered a farming world." Gu Xingyin was stunned. What do you mean? She had a faint premonition in her heart. As expected, the system said, in other words, places like the imperial court in the capital have nothing to do with you. If Zhang Jiujiu wants to get rich, she relies on farming. Gu Xingyin asked. The system. The white light on its body flashed a few times before it finally continued. It doesn't have to be limited to farming. You can also grow other things. Gu Xingyin. However, the key was still farming. She felt a little complicated at the moment, but also a little curious. To be honest, in every world, her host body could be said to be from a rich family. This was the first time she had encountered such a down-to-earth main character setting. The system thought that the host was unwilling. It comforted her. Host, you don't have to worry too much. After all, Zhang Jiujiu's setting is a main character. She definitely won't be the same as ordinary people. As the main character, after Zhang Jiujiu was reincarnated, she obtained a very unexpected thing, the Spirit Spring Space. Spirit Spring Space? Gu Xingyin was confused. After that, the system explained to Gu Xingyin what exactly this thing was. Fortunately, Gu Xingyin had transmigrated to a few cultivation worlds, and had some understanding of things like storage spaces and arcane realms. Even so, the more she knew, the more she was amazed by this space that Zhang Jiujiu possessed. It could store living things, and as the number of times it was used increased, there was also a spirit spring with extremely high spiritual energy within the space. Gu Xingyin confirmed it herself. Not only was the spiritual energy purity of the spiritual spring extremely high, more importantly, it was a living spring with an endless supply of spiritual liquid. Gu Xingyin tried to search for the source of the spiritual spring, but she simply could not find the source of the spiritual spring. Thinking about it, it made sense. To be able to have such means, it was definitely an immortal-level powerhouse. With Gu Xingyin's current situation, it was impossible for her to discover the mystery behind this. Gu Xingyin curiously asked the system if he could cultivate. Then her suggestion was cruelly rejected by the system. Reason? It was impossible for immortal cultivators to exist in a low-martial ancient world. In the past, the lights in Zhang Fei's room would stay on until midnight. Gu Xingyin glanced in that direction, and the corners of his lips curled into a cold smile. Zhang Fei purposely didn't study today, because he wanted to have a good night's rest, so that he could conserve his energy for tomorrow's exam. Before he fell asleep, he was still in a daze, thinking that he had to pass the county scholar examination. It would be best if he was lucky enough to pass the high scholar examination. At that time, he would make Zhang Jinsheng regret not marrying his daughter to him. He slowly fell asleep. Then the next day, Zhang Fei woke up with a start. He only felt that he seemed to have had an extremely frightening dream the entire night. But now, if you asked him to think about what he had dreamed of, he couldn't say. Only the extreme dark and oppressive feeling of the dream still remained in his heart.